Hey, what's going on, family? Hopefully, everybody's doing well this Monday. This is our next installation of a real moment. Hopefully, the sound and everything is good. I try to make my adjustments beforehand, but happy Monday to you either way. So, in this iteration of a real moment, I need to have a little bit of transparency. I had a moment a while, not too long ago, a few days ago, where it really made me question where I was with my forgiveness and my judgment. And I realized that the way I behaved in that particular situation, the way I responded to that situation in particular, left a little bit to be desired. There's still some growth that is uh, is available to me in those areas, and it really got me to thinking how poorly that situation could have turned out had I been more judgmental or less forgiving. And it really got me to thinking about, questioning about why I was even in that situation to begin with. There are times when I'm realizing, I guess I should start that way. That there are times when I'm moving through this life, and at every level, as I move forward and mature in certain areas and grow in different areas, that God is going to continue to use me in ways that I'm probably going to least expect. And they're going to be in ways that are going to be beneficial to whoever he puts in my path, but they're also going to be beneficial to the areas that I need to grow in. And it got me to thinking, like I said, how much worse that situation could have been had I not been where I was at my level of spiritual maturity, shall we say. But I was able to identify that there's still some growth that needs to happen in my life, because I had some reservations. I was hit with that initial feeling like, who are you talking to? Who wait, what are you saying? And how did we get here? That kind of thing. Instead of being in a space where I was open and available and just listening with a loving heart. And don't get me wrong, I don't want to give anybody the impression that you should just let anybody talk to you any kind of way. However, what I had to understand in that moment is that what was happening was more the way I felt in that moment was more about my growth than opposed to how the person was speaking to me. Because had I been in a more mature place, I would have understood that what that person was saying and what that person was doing had very little to do with me and very much to do with how they felt in that moment, what was triggering them, what hurts and wounds were being reopened and rehashed for them. So it took a minute for me to get to that point, but I'm glad I got to that point. And it kind of made me understand, one of my favorite people in the Bible is Paul. And I went back to his journey on the road to Damascus. And for those of you who may or may not know that story, you'll know that before he was Paul, he was Saul. And before he was, in his capacity as Saul, rather, he was actually a Pharisee. And one of his responsibilities was to persecute believers. That was his whole job, and he was very good at it. He was so good at it that his reputation had preceded him. So when people heard that Saul was on the way, they was like, "Oh man, here we go." But on his journey to Damascus, he had an encounter with God, unbeknownst to anybody else but the men who were traveling with him. And after his encounter with God, he was blinded, and he was given instruction to go to a specific city, a specific place within this city. And what God did was God chose a man named Ananias to go and heal him. Now, I can only imagine what Ananias was feeling in that moment. He's like, "You want me to go do what to who? This is the dude that was sent here to basically either lock us up or kill us. And you want me to go heal him?" Had Ananias rebelled anymore, had he defied God, that story may have turned out a lot differently. It was because of that encounter with God, because of that healing through Ananias, that Paul's conversion came to be. And what wound up happening was that Ananias actually baptized Paul, or baptized Saul, excuse me, um, as a demonstration of who Saul was now giving his life to. But that could have gone so many other ways. And if we looked at it from a worldly perspective, it's understandable why it could have gone so many other ways. Logically, it didn't make sense for Ananias to go help the person who was en route to basically persecute him and his family and everybody he knew who shared his beliefs in God. But that's not how God operates. And had Ananias not done that, who's to say that Saul would have become Paul, who the church for the Gentiles was built on? A church that included people outside of the Israelites, a church that was inclusive. So there was significance in everything that happened in that journey and everything that happened after that journey. But had anybody said, I'm not doing it, this person did this, had they let their judgments get in the way, had they let their lack of being able to forgive because of things that had transpired in the past get in the way, that story could have been told very differently. So understand this. It may not always make sense. But if God is putting somebody in front of you, there's a reason he's putting somebody in front of you. It could be for their benefit. It could be for your benefit. It could be for both. There could be growth that needs to happen in that person. There could be growth that needs to happen for you. There could be both. There's a reason for it. And when you say no, when you allow your perspective, your understanding of what is just, your ability to forgive, be the defining factor in those moments, you could really be altering a future that you're completely unaware of. So be mindful. Understand that there's a purpose for all of these things, and understand that if God is allowing it, there's a reason for it. If you're not sure in those moments, definitely consult him, but understand that there's a reason for it, and allow the indwelling Holy Spirit to reveal what that reason is so that you don't miss out on the significance of that moment. That's all I have for this Monday, y'all. Hopefully everybody's having a great day, great evening. Like I said, like and share so that we can build our audience. And if you have something that you want to talk about, make sure you post it on the page so that we can try to incorporate it into these real moments. Until next time, you guys have a great Monday. Peace.